I started out cooking with my grandmother when I was 2. I talked about opening restaurants and having restaurants when I was very young boy. By 3 or 4, my mom told me about that. Graduated high school, I joined the Marine Corps. I went in for culinary, came out of the Marine Corps, went to Johnson & Wales. So I pretty much think my whole life I was targeting my life towards culinary.
I'd been interested in cooking for most of my life, but it was my early 20s when I saw some mentors of mine, Chef Taney Flynn and some other chefs in town, being chef owners and living in the lifestyle and doing what they loved, and seeing the amount of discipline and dedication that took. And it took me a little while to realize that that could be my life, and that's how I live right now.
I never really had that moment of epiphany where you said, yeah, this is my dream, this is everything that I want. I just kept following down the path of the things that I really, really enjoyed doing, and I just kept taking any opportunity that was put in front of me, and then I became a chef.
I don't think there was ever a particular time, like a eureka moment, when I knew I wanted to be a chef. I think it was always in me, and it was kind of my destiny. I fought it a lot, and my family really pushed me not to do it. I kind of grew up in the restaurant business and saw how hard it was, and my family was concerned about the hours and the sacrifices that you have to make. But eventually, I guess, my love for it overcame, and started working in the kitchen, and they saw how happy I was, and I was, first time with work, really happy, and haven't looked back since.
And a little bit later, and it was at a little restaurant, and I was watching 3 guys muscle and hustle over a pot of gumbo. First was scorched, second burned the roux, third they put mushrooms in it or something, and by the end of it they all gave up, and I was sitting there watching them, and I was washing the dishes, and I started laughing. He says, "Do you think you could do better?" I said, "I know I can do better."
Growing up watching these boring, cooking shows like Yan Can Cook and Justin Wilson and the Julia, it was those shows that inspired me, I guess, to do what I do today. I didn't know that's what I wanted to do when I was 10, but looking back, I feel like I was one in 1,000 kids that was probably watching Yan Can Cook and was being excited about how fast he could chop a carrot.
I was 30 years old, and I was going to Tulane for an English degree, and I was just taking my time with that. I was already married, and then a lot of times, I was just not going to class, and I was sitting at home watching Molto Mario, and I was cooking at home like, wait, I don't really want to be an English teacher. I think I want to be a chef. And I told my wife, and she was a little nervous at first, but she's been amazingly supportive. And I think it's been worthwhile, and I love it.
I think for me, the first time was when I actually stepped out of the kitchen, and I was working in Alaska, and I was doing a half and half, working in the kitchen and not working in the kitchen, and I had my chef there. Just saw the potential in me, and kind of took me under his wing. Like, he just focused in and saw what my capabilities were, and got me back in the kitchen. And I always knew that cooking was what I wanted to do, and I did it a long time. My grandmother, cooking in the kitchen with her when I was young and stuff, but it's kind of one of those things you don't actually feel or know that you love doing it until you step away from it. And I kind of stepped away from it, and I realized, wow, I really do miss this. This is actually what I want to do with my life.
I've wanted to be a chef as long as I can remember. I grew up in my grandmother's kitchen, cooking for the family, and I've always cooked for friends, had people over, and it's just been something that I've wanted to do my whole life. A lot of people say police officer or teacher or astronaut, but I've always, since I can remember, I've always said I wanted to be a chef.
I think my heart knew that I wanted to be a chef before my head did, but it really all came together for me after 9/11. I'd been a stockbroker for about 5 years, and it just became so obvious that, if you don't pursue your dreams, you may not have a chance to. So after 9/11, I just packed everything up and came to New Orleans to pursue the dream.
I first knew I wanted to be a chef. I guess I've always known that I wanted to be a chef.
my family from the West Coast, but you know, California, there's a lot of great food. You know, there's I guess my family they like to drink a lot of good wine, and with good wine comes good food. So I was exposed to great food when I was younger, and you know, I've always had a passion for great food and great cooking. I was raised by my grandmother. Some of my first memories are her holding me in one hand while she's cooking with the other, and you know, I guess it was just embedded in me from a very young age.
I first began thinking about becoming a chef when I was working in a office building type. Every day was monotonous and doing the same thing and not a lot of action and not a lot of excitement. So I decided to kind of bag all that and go to a culinary school. It worked out well. I had a great time, and I did well. So I decided to pursue becoming a chef around, it was 2005, 2006. Found myself working in a high-paced, high-action hotel, and really loved it.